was like actually getting this going where I was gonna have like the cameras, both of them, and then we were gonna like have it like go to you and go to me and go to
like
that,
you can cut,
yeah, like
right.
try to make it like a whole legit Joe Rogan experience like type thing. I don't know if you listen to any of his podcasts.
I do, yeah. Someday.
Yeah, one day we'll let the unicycle podcast start really organic in my basement
Right. Yeah,
before turning into a real thing. What do you guys think? It's the Ripley Show, everyone. Hi guys. Big surprise. This is a surprise for me as well. But I have a unicyclist in my house right now. You don't know when this was recorded, so don't you judge me, people on the internet. But here I have Jamey Mossengren, who, as any of you have been following, has been traveling across the United States and doing some big unicycle trips of his own, and he just happened to be driving through Spokane. I messaged him at exactly the right time, and he decided to swing on by, and we're just gonna have a little chit chat.
Yeah,
chit chat about unicycling.
It was meant to be,
Yeah.
Right time at the right place.
Oh God, which is such a miracle, such a miracle. And Jamey, obviously a lot of unicyclists know who you are. Probably know you as the street performing. I was gonna say street unicyclist.
I don't do any street, but
but the street performing Jamey. But some people might not remember that you were a pretty legit high level unicyclist back in the day, right?
Yeah, I was okay. I was never like the best, but I was.
How high did you get? Because you did freestyle.
I did freestyle. Yeah, I grew up with freestyle. I never got first. I think my best was 4th in expert freestyle.
That's pretty good at the Worlds.
At the Worlds,
that's still pretty good. That's still pretty good. It's nothing to poo-poo.
I did get first in group.
That's good.
So
have you seen some of those? It's hard to get first in group. Some routines, as we know, aren't that good, but others are phenomenal.
Right.
It takes a lot of effort to coordinate a group to be like that, obviously, and win, especially nationals or at UniCon. I know people might be tired of hearing this kind of stuff, but I still like hearing the stories because it's been asked to me like 8,000 times. But how did you start? How did you start unicycling?
My grandma actually had one. She bought it at a garage sale, and she lived on a farm in Minnesota, and we'd visit, and we were bored, and it's like, oh, there's nothing to do. And then one day we showed up, and there was a unicycle, and she's like, hey, I bought this for the grandkids to, play around with. And so my brother and I were like, cool. So
how old were you?
I was about 9, 10.
That's pretty young. It's pretty young. Definitely, I didn't start that young.
Yeah, and I got hooked. My brother was always better at it because he was the older, wiser, smarter. So it was like
not anymore.
I was always trying to play catch up, and then eventually we both learned, and then he kind of stopped doing it and got into other stuff, and I just kept doing it, and 31 years later, I'm still doing it.
How did you? I guess Minnesota's got a pretty good scene for it, so that's probably how you got from like unicycling in your house to.
Yep, I joined the Twin City
the club. Yeah, the Twin Cities
club, and huge club, and started traveling and competing and exploring the world, and
for all you people who might live in Minnesota and not know, there's a big unicycle scene in Minnesota. Look it out, Twin Cities.
Yes, although it used to be huge, I think it's dwindled down a bit, but there's still definitely a scene.
Yeah, I still think it's one of the bigger ones out there. Because I know I might be wrong. The people who are going to listen to this might chastise me, but I know Panther Pride in Washington was really big. And then I know the guy retired, stopped doing it, and I don't know if it shrank or disappeared, but I know I know Aaron who ran the Nationals in Seattle that happened a couple of years ago. He's running the club now, I think.
Yeah,
I probably just ruined all that information. But, so you joined the Twin Cities Club. What was your first Nationals? What was your first Unicon?
My first Nationals was 92, and my first Unicon was 94, and I haven't missed one since. I've missed some nationals for sure.
I mean, come on,
uni-
you can't travel all over the United States. You know, when you got 2 years to plan, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, I'd rather go to Unicon than nationals if I had to choose. And
Not to poo-poo on nationals. Obviously, it's a lot of work, and I have a lot of respect for everyone who puts it on. But like, this is so gatekeepy. But like, the people who are like really into unicycling, like they're in it for like the sweat and the blood and the tears, they go to Unicon.
right.
And you know, it's funny. I missed South Korea. That's the one I really wanted to go to. And
It was my least favorite one.
it's your least favorite of all of them. I've heard there was some
Thumbs down.
issues. I don't really know them, obviously, but I have never made it to the Asian part of the world, and I had was really looking forward to it and saved all the money to it. And I had to move like right before I was going to buy my plane ticket. I had to move out of my apartment for reasons we had discussed earlier.
Sure.
So every dime I had for Unicon just evaporated into moving out of one place and into another, and I just watched the planes take off without me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one to miss. The weather was crap, too hot and humid.
I mean, I'm already sweaty as it is. I don't know.
The Muni wasn't that great. It was just, yeah.
You know, I feel like everyone I've talked to, there's been some point of like unicycle political tension that we've gotten to, but not been able to discuss very much. Just my question off the top of my head: do you think that like every unicycle event should have like the best of like every discipline, like as far as competition goes?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, of course, I've been to so many different Unicons. I like seeing everything. I like having the variety, and it's nice.
That's true.
It's nice when everyone gets together, even though they're different. It's nice that we all have this one love, and
Yeah.
but it makes it difficult to organize it, and I definitely see both sides of it.
Totally.
And I know, like, yeah, I've heard lots of people complaining, like basketball or hockey or street or whatever. And
all the stuff at the gym.
It's like, all the best people aren't there, so how can you say it's a world championship?
Totally.
But then, it is a world championship, so if you want that title, you have to go there,
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's tough.
The dedicated people will be there.
Well, and even like from the side of the organizers, where like, all of them, do track. And so when it comes to organizing the Muni event, they're just, they're not really sure what to do.
Right.
Because
and then it becomes
that's
like
not what they do.
half-ass, and it's just
Yeah. Or they go like, hey, this is definitely not their fault. It's just a proximity issue. But like, I've been to Madison 3 times, I think. And, Madison's closest like mountain trails is that little park that they have near. And while it is certainly totally fine, Madison, Wisconsin, not shitting on Madison, Wisconsin.
Right.
It's, it definitely leaves like a Muni desire, for something.
Right.
But what can you do?
Yeah, you don't have many options.
Yeah.
And that's I guess one of the problems is finding a good spot that has something good for all the disciplines. There's always going to be something that's lacking, whether
Totally.
It's the organizers that don't know, or the terrain, or the gym, or the one year, that one Unicon where the floor was all smooth and slippery for flat.
That was in Italy.
They put Coke all over it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make it sticky,
You know what's fucked up? I don't know if anyone knows this. That was legit 100% me and my buddy's idea.
High five.
I don't. Other people might talk about it, but me and my friend Joe, he used to work for an arena, and when they did events for arenas and BMX stuff like indoors, the cement's too smooth for it. And so literally what they do is they give you a big fat 2-liter, you shake it up hardcore, and then you crack it, and you just let the fuzz just spray everywhere, and it gets tacky, and the dust settles, and it gets more textury, and then you just mop it up afterwards. It's no big deal.
Right.
You just get a mop, and
worked,
you
right?
just mop. And I know there was a lot of like tension. I don't if anyone's like still mad about that. I'm sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that was a weird situation too, because we asked someone, they said yes. I don't know if you remember all this. And then other people who came were like, what are you doing? Like, this is my, they thought we were like trying to like make a mess like kids or something like that. And it was authentically a controlled idea. Right. But, it's all about perception and all that, right, I guess?
Yeah, and I think it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it worked a little bit. I know that there was still a little bit of, I think that Italy one, when it came to the urban events in particular, had some weird stuff happen. There's like people who were told like, oh, we're gonna cancel this event. No, we're not. Oh, if you act up, I don't know, stuff like that. Right. But overall, I had a pretty good experience there. Okay, so you have been to every Unicon since 1994.
94, yeah.
Which one thus far do you think it was? You said South Korea might have not been your favorite, or probably your least favorite.
Least favorite. It was still fun, but definitely my least favorite.
What was your most favorite?
They're all so different. Like, they're all my favorites.
If you
except
had
for South Korea.
you have to pick one like shining memory from all these Unicons. Doesn't have to be your best. Just one memory that significantly sticks out. What sticks out in your brain from all the Unicons?
Japan was interesting and unique and fun.
I would love to go to Japan. Oh my god.
That was definitely a highlight, and that's the first Unicon where we started playing beer pong.
Oh really?
So me and a couple other friends introduced that to the old Unicon, so that was kind of a highlight.
That is awesome. Guess. If anyone who doesn't know, they do a unofficial, and sometimes it is official. I don't know.
Yes, kind of official.
It's pretty official. It's definitely been very official every time I've been there. They do a full unicycle beer pong competition. It's not on unicycles, but everyone who goes does a big one. The one in Spain was super
ridiculous.
Epic. It was so epic. There must have been like, I don't know, 80 teams or something that.
It was
and
crazy.
People took turns. Oh my god. Me and Dan Cowling have tried to do it every year. And like even before we will practice. And we have gotten out in the first or second round every time. Just like we walk up and two 17-year-olds from Germany just wipe the floor with us. We're like, it turns out we're just good at drinking. Not good at anything else.
Yeah, I just like the social aspect. Everyone's having fun and they're...
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Okay, in slightly different question. From your memories of unicycling, what is like one of the most impressive things you have ever seen in the world of unicycling?
Oh.
Like when you think back and God, like I still can't believe I witnessed blank.
Good question. I think the backflip, was it Adrian?
Yeah, Adrian Delacroix.
That was mind blowing because
it's so much.
I didn't see it coming because I wasn't a front flip. It was front flip. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Still hasn't been landed yet.
Because I haven't, I don't watch a ton of videos, so I didn't even know if that was even out there. If he just shocked everyone, but that was definitely a mind blowing moment.
I mean, it's funny looking at some of this stuff now because if you look at that video now, it looks like it was shot on someone's Nokia phone.
Oh, really? Like the quality?
Yeah, it's just terrible. And he's landed much better quality.
What year was that? You remember?
I want to say
they all blend in. All Unicons blend in for me. So it's
2008.
Was that Denmark?
Yeah. I kind of want to look it up. But
if you know, comment below.
Comment or subscribe to when Adrian Delacroix did it, and whether or not we should obviously know that kind of a thing.
Right.
The light's gonna be all fucked up now. Unicycle front flip. You like this, people who are only listening, typing and.
That's right. This is audio too. So
2008. I was right.
Oh,
I can't believe it. See, I know stuff about unicycling.
Yeah, nailed it. You can just cut that out and
just re-edit it. Yeah, I was right on the first try. We didn't even have to look it up. See, I got this figured out.
So yeah, that was probably one of them.
You saw that in person?
Yep.
Oh my God,
Yep.
that's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. What else? Just like a lot of the trials lines, like always blow me. Or, like watching the experts do that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few very significant ones that stick out in my brain. I was one of the street judges in New Zealand when Chris Hiriwire won for the first time, won his first like world championship title for street. And there was at the time a lot of like discrepancy about the judging and what tricks were landed and which ones weren't, and if someone did bigger tricks than the other. But it was pretty obvious, even if you go back and watch some of the videos, that like the Chris Hiriwire was killing it. Like at that competition,
Nice.
he was killing it, and that's what I just remember watching it. Like,
Any specific trick or just the whole thing?
There wasn't a lot that stuck out to me at the time. It was more like I was like so shocked and overwhelmed at the stuff they were doing on some of the stuff. I was like, oh my God, that was crazy. Oh my God, that was crazy. But in that comp, which was much debated, Adrian Delacroix did a tray flip down this like big six, like skate park six.
Nice.
And he landed on the pedals and he rolled like one rev out and like, kind of lost it. More like maybe the crank bucked him or something like that. But like he was like gonna ride away, and then that bad knock you off thing kind of happens. But later in Madison, Wisconsin, the first time I went to Madison, Chris Hiriwai and a bunch of the New Zealand Australian riders came to ride in Madison, which was pretty crazy. They like came into the NAUCC. And I just have this clear memory. I hope if I like get old with dementia, this memory still lives in my brain, of Chris Hiriwai running up to that Madison Skate Park 6-at, jumping in the air and doing a tray flip and catching it. He was still like going up. Like he jumped in the air, did this tray flip, caught it, and came down. And it was nothing. It was just nothing. He just effortless. When you talk about like what looks good and what doesn't, it was perfect.
Wow.
It was like a perfectly executed maneuver.
Was it first try too?
It was first try.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken. Some of my stupid, but if I recall, he just went for it. And lots of people are trying things, and he just, in the previous comp, he had maybe struggled in New Zealand to do something like that, and he had come back to another comp and just was on fire. Messed up too was he got really sick in Madison. I think he got a staph infection, and they had to go to the hospital, and he was like sick in bed the entire day before the competition. Didn't leave his room. Woke up the next morning for the street comp and crushed.
Wow.
Crushed.
Maybe that was his blessing. Maybe he had a day of rest to just compose himself, and I don't know.
And then I remember in New Zealand, Max Schultz killing in trials. He had done like in prelims, he had done like 10 more trials lines than any other rider. So like, they did a finals. I think maybe they didn't do a finals in New Zealand. Someone else could correct me on that too. But he just wiped the floor. Like there was not a prayer. And I remember they were doing like, he was working this one line that had like a zigzag skinny on it. And literally they went like, okay, 5, 4. And he's like, oh God. And like he jumped on his unicycle. And instead of trying to ride the skinny, he just jumped straight for the bar, hit the next one, hit the last post, hopped down like 2, like 1, 0. And got like one more in before the clock ran out. I'm like, that's crazy. Like,
wow.
Like I would have walked away. Definitely.
Yeah, Max is definitely one of my favorite riders of all time. I think.
He's people might say this or that, but he's just like the Tony Hawk, man. He just is. Yeah. He was always baller. He never like dipped, and he could probably pick it up again now and still just annihilate.
Yeah, I was riding with him in Denver a month or 2 ago. And he's still he was doing I don't know 900 spins, and
I rode with him at Nationals in Denver last year or the year before, so I don't know what I'm talking about. He's still obviously killing it. It's not like he hung it up or anything like that. He's still incredibly athletic and devilishly handsome. And then just to keep gushing, you know, I was just like taking up all the time and talking, obviously.
Yeah, it's all good.
In Spain, during the trials finals, Mark Fabian just did, in my opinion, one of the most fucked up trials lines I think I've ever seen. I don't know if you remember in the finals, but
I'm trying to remember.
there was a big giant thing in the
inside?
middle, inside,
Yeah,
inside the
yeah,
arena.
okay.
And one of the finals trials lines, and he did it first. That's what was crazy. He went to that line first and knocked it out, which was obviously the right move. Mark Fabian, you're a legend for that. But it had the skinny up ramp, like up skinny, 10 feet off the ground already or something. And then it was a hop from the rounded corner to like up a 4 stack of pallets.
Damn.
And then like more stuff after that. And I remember watching him like kind of like hop on it, hop off, hop on the little rail. Like, you know, this video he did on his first try without thinking or something. But like, he hopped on the rail, rode on the up skinny to the top of the rounded part. God, again, like at least 8 feet in the air, over my head for sure. And he was up there for like a full minute. Just like balancing and hanging out and just waiting and making sure he felt good, waiting for the right time. And I just couldn't believe he's just up there, like taking a break. And then when the moment came, he just grabbed his seat straight up to the up pallets. And I was just like, he's got it. It's over. This competition's done. And yeah, just
some
incredible.
People are just above and beyond, you know?
Yeah. And you know, Mimo Seedler, I don't know if you watch any of his stuff recently. He's the street rider right now. His stuff is incredible. We should definitely watch a video before you leave. And man, it's just nutty. It's just nutty watching like what these people. I totally lost my train of thought.
Sounds good.
But
yeah, I don't watch too many online videos.
But yeah, it's just crazy. Like, you know, seeing him do that, and then like seeing Mimo Seedler like come out and try some of this crazy street stuff that he's doing. It's just people are still like, where I was going is you don't see all the practice they do where they fail.
Right.
And Mimo Seedler has been putting out these incredible videos, just the most insane, awesome, sexy looking street videos. And then after they come out, he puts out his like rough cut.
Oh, of all
of like it's like 15 or 20 minutes of all the attempts, the hardest attempts, the hardest crashes, how many tries it took him. Ones that were like, he effectively landed it and it looked just as good, but he's like, nah, it's got to be better than that. And you're like, what? That's good enough. And he's like, nah.
Where is he from?
The Netherlands?
Somewhere in Europe.
Belgium? No, that's Tim de Smet. I'm sorry, Mimo. I'm a terrible, terrible unicyclist. I don't... In that area of Europe, I'm sure. He's going to be like, yeah, that's right.
Just say he's from Europe.
Yeah, he's from Europe. You know, everyone knows where Europe is. So, Jamey, I just finished watching it last night, but you did a 700-mile ride, the Oregon Timber Trail.
Yep, that's right.
How in the fuck do you even do that?
You know, just one foot in front of the other.
Oh my god. You know, it's not hard for me to see you doing something like this because I remember back in Moab that one year when we did the long version of the Porcupine Rim Trail.
Oh, yeah.
And you rode from the campsite to the top of the trail. You rode up. Yeah, which that's already a long... must have taken at least 2 hours.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
And then rode the rest of the 17 or so mile trail with us, and we all jumped in the river, and then you rode back to camp.
Yeah, that was a long day.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it, but what sucked was I did, all the climbing at the start, and then you get to the top and you already spent, and you have this whole trail to ride.
Of like hard muni.
Like hard. And, by the end of it, I was like, that was too much.
Like, I have done Porcupine Rim at least 10 times now, and I have ran out of like food and water every time. Like and every year I'll like pack a little bit more water, a little bit more snacks, and I have ran out of water every time I've done just the 17 miles.
Yeah, it's a big trail.
So I imagine you must like have to be a camel or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to do it, and it's one of my favorite trails actually.
I think it's what if people think it's all written out. I don't agree with that at all. I think it's a really fun trail.
I love it. Yeah, I love Moab in general. Like, there's so many good trails, and that's just like a classic. And I just wanted a challenge, I guess. I wanted, because I'd ridden it a couple times before, and I was like, and I think I heard Aspen Mike did the whole thing, and I was like, okay, well, I do
well, you can't just let somebody else be the only one.
Right, I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. And like, apparently I can.
If I was going to do like a 700-mile ride, Jenny Rinker and I did an episode, and I talked about how in my dream fantasy unicycle land I live in, I have always thought about like taking the year or even 2 years, I guess. It would definitely take 2 years. I have always thought about unicycling the whole authentic perimeter of the Great Wall of China.
Oh, wow. That'd be cool.
It is 13,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'm not even a good uni rider to begin with, so I don't know what I'm thinking. But I think that, there's lots of it you can do on the wall itself. Okay. But there are big chunks that are missing. But supposedly, I had a friend who did quite a few hikes through the Great Wall of China, and you can still authentically hike those sections in between, supposedly.
Okay. Wow.
It's just like bushwhacking, like hiking style.
I've ridden like a mile on it.
Was that fun? was it worth it?
It was cool. Yeah, it was fun. That was when the Unicon was in China, in Beijing.
That would be cool too. It feels like it. I feel like a Unicon in China probably won't happen again for a while.
It's true.
In this climate, if you know what I mean.
It's gonna be a while.
So how do you? I imagine it's probably just easy for you to get your mind in the place and go. But how do you even like start planning a 700-mile trip to do by yourself?
I don't really plan that much, really. Like, I just, get the map and kind of head there, and then I'm there. I got all my stuff and just start riding, and I plan out every day or every couple days and resupply with food and water, and I don't plan it for months and months and months. This was kind of a spur of the moment. Like, COVID hit, I couldn't work.
What else do you do?
I couldn't street perform. I was like, I don't want to be stuck inside, so I was like, let's go do something adventurous, and it was adventurous, and
it looked really adventurous.
Yeah,
some of those areas where like the trees are all down and stuff, they just looked brutal.
Yeah, that was one of the negative things about COVID is they didn't maintain the trails as much as they usually do.
I'm sure that that part is probably cut from the budget a little bit during all this COVID stuff.
So the first day was terrible. It was like 50 some trees down. And it slowed me down, and no, it was 150 trees down, I think.
Because 50 trees down was just one day, I think.
Well, 150 in the first day.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. That sounds right.
And it sucked. I almost gave up that first day. But
you were like, no, I can't do all this.
I started with 2 bikes, and they both quit the second day because they did not like it at all.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the problem with bike, man.
Yeah,
you got twice as much to carry.
Too heavy and going over and under trees, like, not fun. So, but it's I don't know. I love being in the woods by myself or with other people. It don't matter. But
so you pick your trail. You kind of like know like where the start is, where the finish is, and then would you say you kind of like plan on just a couple days out in advance?
Yep, you have to. Food, I guess, is the most important part. So you got to plan where your resupply is. So I would look, and you're going by a town in 4 or 5 days, and you're like, okay, I got to stop there, and then you get to that town, and then you look at the map, and you're like, okay, the next town is probably going to be here, and that'll take 4 or 5 days or whatever it is, and it's just you just do it.
So in a few of the videos, I was just curious because like I couldn't decide for myself this was planned or just a silly little thing you did for the videos. But so did you stash some of those drinks and things like on the way, or did you just kind of like, haha, put it there, pull the camera out?
No, those are actually legit.
Okay. That's what I'm impressed by.
That was legit because when I drove there, I actually passed the trail, and
remembered a couple of these spots.
I looked on the map and I'm like, oh, the trail's here. I'm gonna stash, some food or booze or beer or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the map again. And I'm like, oh, actually, the trail crosses this way, so I would stash, something there. But that was only like the first, week or so. And then after that, it was all just no stashed stuff.
So I watched all the videos, but how long did it actually take? 700 miles?
31 days.
31
And I had 2 0 days where I didn't ride at all. So.
Well, you gotta rest at some point, right?
Yeah,
a little bit.
0 days are great because you get to town and you just want to relax and chill. So.
I found a bit confusing. It's just videos, but like there was the hot tub. Was that being fueled by hot water in some other way?
The natural hot springs?
Oh, it was a natural hot spring. Yeah. There was like a bathtub, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
I kind of felt like
it was a really, really weird.
And so you fill up the bathtub with the hot spring, add cold water from the river. That seems pretty straightforward. Yeah,
it was a really kind of dirty one, but I was really dirty, so I fit right in.
I don't think I would ever pass up an opportunity for a hot spring.
No.
Under any circumstances.
I was in one last night, actually. I love them.
Which one's that? Idaho? No, you just came
it was
from Montana.
by Butte, Montana.
Huh.
Buttman. Montana.
I've heard there's quite a few over in Montana. I've just never made it. Only ones I've ever been to is Ainsworth Hot Springs up in Canada. Okay. It's just above Nelson.
I'll have to add it to my list.
Nelson's got some pretty cool stuff up there if you ever get a chance. I mean, if the world ever becomes a world again.
Right. Well, it will. Vaccines out and there's a new strain out there. And...
Yeah. Supposedly, the thing I saw, this is just totally anecdotal, but supposedly the vaccine is still going to be good for this other strain. That's what I saw.
Good.
But,
good.
Well, we'll see, I guess. Maybe it'll be 28 days later all over again. That'd be fun.
Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah. What was the best, what day, or what part was like the best part of the trail? Like once you finally got to get into it?
Seeing Mount Hood, that was really cool. It's just majestic and just...
humongous.
It's beautiful. And like the whole trail like follows it for like a couple days. You're kind of like going around it, and it's like you just have these views of this massive volcano, and plus I knew like the end was near, which is kind of nice. It's like I'm only a couple more days. I can smell it,
Yeah. The mountain almost like reinvigorates you to keep going.
Another favorite thing, not a specific day. It was just all the cool people that I met on the trail. Helping me out, or like the community of hikers and bikers and
people are there to help each other out.
Yeah, it fills your soul back up just knowing there's nice people out there.
Yeah, like this news world we're seeing out there is not like the real world.
Right.
Like the people who do normal things like hike and do trips and we just help each other out like normal ass human beings.
Yeah,
it's not weird. Is this the longest trek you've done?
This is the second longest one. I did the Arizona Trail, which is 800 miles.
Oh my god!
And that one was cool because I convinced 2 other unicyclists to join me.
Oh my god! And they did the whole thing with you?
Yep, Corbin Dunn and Rebecca from Germany.
Oh god! I've seen Rebecca ride quite a bit. Yeah, she seems up to stuff for sure.
Yeah, well, she was only like 18, I think, when she did it. So that blew my mind. I was like, like she's a female and an 18-year, like.
Yeah, just young and ready to just do a month-long 800-mile unicycle trip in Arizona. What time of year did you do that?
We started in March.
That's probably.
And it was
that's
like
probably
the
good.
weather was perfect. It was
Never too cold.
never too cold, never too hot. I mean, it was kind of cold in the Grand Canyon
Sure,
section,
sure.
the North Rim. There was actually still snow on the ground, and we had to bypass some of the trail because it was unrideable. So we hopped on the road, skipped.
For sure. Yeah,
Skip
it
like
just
10
just where
miles
yeah,
or
just where you
something,
need to. Yeah.
Our feet were wet. It was cold. It was miserable. Ton of down trees because, they didn't do anything. It was still early in the season.
What year did you do that?
That would have been 2016, 17. Yeah, a couple years ago. And then my first adventure was the Colorado Trail, and that's 500 miles through the Rocky Mountains.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Do you think you'll ever do one of the? That's a lot of miles. Ah, my goodness. Man,
Yeah,
I barely can get in my
like,
car and drive to the skate park and ride for an hour.
It's only like on average 20 miles a day. So
That seems.
if you break it down, it's just riding.
And it's not like super crazy terrain. Most of it, I imagine. There is some.
There is some crazy, and I don't ride all of it. Most uphills I actually walk because it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
You got all your gear, you got all your stuff. It's like
you hear that, all you crazy uphill mountain unicycles. It's not worth it.
Save your energy for the fun downhill.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Any ride or trail or event that you've done has a particularly good memory?
They all are good memories. I mean, just trying to think of a highlight. I think one of my highlights on the Colorado Trail. It was my last day, or I was gonna finish the next day, and I wanted to, go a certain distance so I'd have, a shorter amount the next day. And I passed this like group of mountain bikers, and they have like a truck and like a bunch of food cooking, and they're drinking, and they see me ride by, and they're like, "Hey, come, we want to talk to you."
Like you can not just ride past us.
And I'm like, okay, but I want to get a couple more miles. They're like, "Oh, come here, you want a tequila?" And they're all like drinking straight tequila. Like they have these really nice tequilas. Like everyone has like a bottle, and like they're just like, "Come on, just have one." And I'm like, okay.
I'll just have one.
So I have one, and then one turns into 10, and pretty soon I'm sleeping there. And, But it was awesome, like just talking to them, and I was a bit hungover the next day.
That's a fun way to finish though.
I finished.
You finished with like a good bit, like a good memory.
Right.
Oh, you could have just ridden past.
Right, and slept by
and
myself.
had no story.
It was nice, like. Human connection is nice, especially when you've been solo for a week or 2 or 3.
Man.
So it was nice to like connect with them, and then like the next day was actually really easy because it was 15 miles of mostly downhill. So it was.
So you're just enjoying it, cruising, getting those miles clocked done pretty quickly. Is there those trails is like a finish line? Is it like that's the end of the trail?
Yep, yeah. There's usually a finish line. Like the Oregon Timber Trail, as soon as your wheel hits the Columbia River, is it?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's Columbia River. So that's the finish. Your wheel hits the water and you're done.
Oh my goodness. Do you ever think you'll do? I know I keep thinking about it. For me, but I mean, I haven't even tried to do a ride, even like any of this, so I don't know where my thoughts come from. But like, I hear it's like a bike only trail or it's a hike only trail. I personally don't subscribe to that idea. I know a lot of people are into the hike or bike only, but you only live once, guys. I mean, you want to live by the rules of the man. But there's is it the Pacific Crest Trail? It goes top to bottom?
Yep, I'm actually going to be doing that starting in March.
Oh my God, the whole thing?
The whole thing, but on 2 feet.
2 feet, no wheel?
No wheel, yeah. I sometimes bend the rules, but
sure.
That one's pretty popular, and I think it would, I don't think it'd sit too well with a lot of people, so.
Ah, man, you hikers, so uptight.
I will say on the Colorado Trail, there's some wilderness areas where bikes aren't supposed to go through.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And it was
Makes
a
sense.
debatable situation for me because in Colorado, a unicycle is considered a pedestrian
Not a bike.
and not a bike.
Oh, interesting.
So if I took the bike bypasses, I would be riding on roads which was illegal for a pedestrian.
Sounds like you found a pretty sweet loophole, in my
So
opinion.
it was like I was illegal if I went through the wilderness areas because, I mean, they're not supposed to have wheels or mechanical stuff.
Sure.
And it was illegal to go on the road. So I was like, well, both are wrong, so I'm just going to do...
Yeah, you just
one of
gotta
them.
take a risk and
of
hopefully
course,
nobody gives you a ticket or anything like that.
Yeah, in the wilderness areas, like, there's barely anyone. So
Yeah.
I saw, like, one or two people through, so it's like... wasn't a big deal, but if I did get caught, oh well, I'll pay the fine or try to talk my way out of it.
Yeah, be like, what do you want me to do, officer? It's funny, this just came up on the forums, the whole legal laws. I guess in California, even though there's a little bit of gray area in the legal definition, apparently a unicycle is a bike.
Yeah,
in
every
California.
state's different.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's kind of weird.
As far as I have determined in Washington, there is not a specific definition, but I have definitely had a few police officers tell me that it's a bicycle.
Yeah, and they don't always know the rules.
Yeah. I mean, I take that with a grain of salt. I'm going to ride where I want to ride, with the exception to the Pacific Crest Trail, apparently.
Right.
Is there another, bike version of that trail that you know of?
There's, I think, like a road bike version of that trail.
Lame.
But not a dirt one, as far as I know. There might be, I don't know. But the Continental Divide Trail is a trail that you can hike or bike or unicycle.
Where does that one go by comparison?
So that goes, starts like in Montana at the Canadian border and goes through, Montana, Colorado, somewhere to Mexico. I don't know exactly.
I see. All right.
But I plan to do that on a unicycle someday. And that one's like 2,800 miles.
Oh my God.
So that's a big one.
I mean, if I want to do, the Great Wall of China, I'm going to have to start somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm not saying I'm going to commit right now to Jamey.
Yeah,
but,
well,
just keep
start
me in mind.
Start small, go...
I should probably go to one more Muni event.
Do a week or two at a time and see if you like it, because it's probably not for everyone. I mean, you're definitely in pain sometimes.
Totally.
It's not just coasting down a hill on a bike.
I do I have a 27.5. I got my disc brake. I think it's pretty nice. I thought it was pretty funny how many times you have to change your rotors, or your brake pads.
Yeah, I went through brakes no tomorrow.
If I had
crazy.
gone on that trip on my own, I would have literally never thought of that, and I would have been grinding metal the whole trip.
Yeah, I went through brakes. I think just all the extra weight, and plus I'm a huge fan of the brake. I'm using it even on flats. I'm using it.
Yeah. You're too much effort. Slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
As soon as you get used to using it, it's hard to not want to.
Yeah, and I can't even go down a hill without a brake now. I'm so used to it. My legs don't know what to do.
I'm not quite at that level. I feel like I have magic moments where I start to use my brake down something, and sometimes I'll brake too hard or obviously not enough. But there's that magic moment where you're going down a pretty tricky obstacle and you hit it and you're like, oh, you just feel like you're flowing down it,
right,
so to speak. And it's a good feeling.
Yes.
If you are thinking about getting a brake, guys, it's worth it.
Get a brake.
It's definitely
you don't need it, but you want it.
Definitely. Have you ever? I don't know if I want to go that direction. I was gonna say have you ever been part of unicycle organization? Do you have any opinions on that? But it sounds like it's just gonna be shit talking if I start talking about it.
Not really. I am the director of the skill levels 1 through 10,
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I haven't really done much with it, to be honest.
Sure. That's all right. I mean,
and I know there's new skill levels for.
They're doing their own for flat.
Flat, yeah. So,
Because what's the highest level you got to in freestyle?
level 11.
Jamey, there are kids listening to this. No, there's not. I don't care. And if there are kids listening to this, well, you should have gotten your parents' permission. For anyone who's not initiated, level 11 is having sex on a unicycle. But there's a rule: you have to be at least a level 10 freestyle unicyclist for it to be legit.
True.
You can't skip. You can't just jump ahead of the line, guys. But
And
so
I think there's 3 level 11s that I know of in the world.
I would
There might
definitely.
be more. I don't know.
I don't know. We'd have to ask that freestyle world.
Yeah, there's only like what 17 or 18 level 10, so it would have to be under that.
When did you become a level 10 freestylist?
Ooh. I don't remember the year, but I know like I tried for a long time and then I gave up. And then I went to college, and then towards the end of college I was like, I really want to get it. I really want to get
Yeah,
it. So
yeah.
then I'd practice, and then finally passed it. And that was probably one of my proudest moments ever in my life.
Wow,
I
damn,
think.
that's pretty.
Like,
I mean,
'cause it took me at least 10 years to get there.
the
Maybe
list
more.
of tricks on it is ridiculous. And I know in like some recent years, there's been some debate with a few of them that they should get swapped around.
Oh yeah, they were made back in the 80s, you
Yeah.
know, when like tricks weren't,
'Cause
you
you
know,
can-
a 180 was crazy.
Yeah, it's huge. Like if you're doing a 180 uni spin, like you're a monster.
Right.
And like I know that there was a video that had a demonstration of like every single
Right.
of the level 10 tricks or whatever. And I think the one is riding backwards one-footed in a figure eight that's within a meter. Each loop has to be within a meter. I think that is like ridiculously hard. Do you think that's real hard?
Yeah.
I mean, you
hard,
can
but
obviously do it. So
backwards pirouette is definitely the hardest of them all.
backwards pirouette. You
Yep.
think that's the hardest of them all?
Yeah, out of for me and most people, that's the one that gets everyone.
Weird. I would
Yeah.
have never even thought about that. I suppose when I got there, I would have figured it out.
Yeah, that one's just a stupid trick, basically.
Because obviously lots of people do forward riding pirouettes. That doesn't seem to be too big a deal. But something about riding backwards is like
Backwards.
nuts, huh?
And then 3 times on a dime, just ugh.
Oh, because you have to get going and then
Stop for
and
3
go at
revolutions.
least 3 revolutions. That's fucked up. That's too many revolutions.
And it's also a really hard one to judge too, because it's so fast, and it's like, oh, were their feet moving?
Yeah, you're
Were-
like, was that too?
You almost need video, you know.
Yeah,
like,
was that 270 or did you really
Right.
make it 3?
they make it, you have to have 2 judges for it now, but
That's probably fair.
yeah.
You don't have like a shitty judge. It's like, I don't know, that didn't really look like 3. Do it again. Because you have to do it all. You have like 3 tries?
2 tries.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been going just
But
me.
you can try every day. So what I do is
Oh,
I'd
that's okay.
go
That's
and
okay.
I'd go and I'd
Session
try
every day.
and I'd get my 2 attempts. I'd go back and try it again, and then eventually I got lucky, and then I was lucky enough to finish the rest of the skills too to pass it.
That's
so.
cool. That's cool. We've been messing around with the freestyle levels. Me and the other guy who rides in town, we both got checked off in Colorado. Moses Hart. He has a name. Moses Hart's the other guy who rides in town. He got checked off for doing the flatland levels for certifying people. I think we can certify up to like level 6 or something like that. And I haven't even gotten level 3. Every time I have done it, you have to do, I think, perform at least 4 of the skills in each bracket. You don't have to do all of them. Just like there's like a big set of skills, and you have to do at least this many in each category.
Okay.
And I have messed up one of them every time I've attempted it. And I'm just like, this
pressure.
is the stuff I do. Yeah, I'll practice it. Like, okay, this is the official, and then just can't pull it off.
Yeah, that happens, you know.
What would you say is your personal favorite trick? Your like favorite trick to do?
Ooh. I have a couple of them. I can pedal with my hands backwards.
Ah, that's a good one. I've never gotten that one.
And
I've practiced it a lot too.
That one's really fun. That one took a while to learn, and it's just like it's a good visual trick too
Totally.
for people, you know. So I do it in my show. Like my last trick is that trick.
How can you go like? Can you like ride?
Yeah, I can do 10 meters or whatever.
Oh
like,
damn, that's pretty crazy.
and I've been learning how to get out of it, so I can get into it and out of it. But that's
hard.
That's
obviously.
a whole different story.
It's already ridiculous.
I can
to
do it if I'm lucky, like 1 out of 20 tries.
Huh, I see it. Huh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and then my other one is double crossover. So it's like crossover. You put your foot over and idle with your other foot on the other pedal, and then you put your other foot on the other pedal, so your legs are crossed.
Yeah, and
that
ride?
was you. I don't ride. Some people can actually ride.
I've seen a few people ride.
Drag seat.
Yeah, or have
which
it out
is
in
really
front.
cool.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It looks uncomfortable.
That's another visual one too. It's just like you show it to
It's
random
very
people
clear that it's like wrong
right
when you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing about like street and like crank flips and stuff is like you try to show it's worthless if you're not a unicyclist because people are like, oh, show us a trick, and you could do you could do a crank flip or you could do a tray side triple, and regular ass people just have no idea what it looks like at all.
That's in all my shows, like I was doing all these crazy hard tricks, and it's not worth it. Like I do a 180 instead of a 360, even though I can do both.
Yeah.
No one cares.
You
like,
jump
180
and spin
is
it,
a 360 to most
and
people.
the audience just goes wild.
And it's like the tricks that look hard, like wheel walk, or like the tricks that look hard impress people.
Totally.
And so I've learned to do.
I remember like trying to the first time I got like rolling wraps, which is a flatline trick. I still can barely do them, but like I remember doing a rolling wrap in front of a group of friends who was watching, and I did it, and I was like, oh my god, I did it, like that's amazing. And my friends were like, cool. And then I did just a seat wrap like with my feet. I just did like a double seat leg wrap, and my friends were like, oh, that's crazy, that looks way harder than the other one. I'm like, oh my god, you people hurt me.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea what I do with my time. Do you have a favorite writer? If you had to pick you're a fan of someone.
I don't think he's a current writer. He might be. He's from Switzerland. Julien Monet. I don't know. Most people probably won't know him, but he was like doing cutting edge stuff, coming up with new tricks, freestyle stuff back in the day. He even like did the standing on the seat coasting. I
have heard about this. I've never seen
video of it.
Is this the one where he did it with the plank of wood?
Yeah.
Oh god,
yeah.
I heard this story from Chris Home himself. One of the few times I got to meet Chris Home, he told me the story of the guy. He puts the plank on the seat, and then he has to like have someone pull him, right?
Pull him or something.
Yeah, with like a rope, and then he's coasting, standing on the seat, and can just go, just do it.
Crazy, but he was like coming up with cool tricks back in the day, and he was super good. I think like Max Schultz is still one of my favorites.
Come on, he's the legend.
And then like of course Chris Home. Like I like all the original OGs. Like Dan Heaton. Like I'm from back in the day when they were something else. So they still hold a special spot in my heart. Dan
Heaton's still one of my favorite human beings. I've been to a couple events with him, and I took one road trip with him to Moab for the Moab Muni Fest, and he, I don't know, this is gonna maybe a little gushy, but like I had never met him before, and then like through trying to figure out how to go to Moab, I needed a ride, and no one else was going, and I couldn't drive myself, and I just posted on the forums like, oh, can anyone give me a ride? And then like he sends me a DM, oh, here's my phone number. Like, I didn't know what his name was. Maybe it was Dan Heaton on the thing. But, like, when I opened the message, he's like, oh, here's my phone number. Call me Dan Heaton. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, my God. And then he shows up at my house. I'm like, oh, my God. And my friends still make fun of me because I have become, I would say, decent good friends with him over the last few years. And you can text him every now and then. Every time I get a text or a call from him, he sent me text on, like, my birthday or something, or on Christmas. And I'll go, oh, it's Dan Heaton. My friends do this stupid thing where they go, Dan Heaton, Dan Heaton, Dan Heaton, Dan Heaton, Dan Heaton, and they will all like echo it like parrots. And oh god, they
And
did
you-
it
you
to me
even
over
have
the
his
phone.
unicycle
And I have his
now.
unicycle.
Yeah.
And I did a whole like little podcast episode just on with that unicycle.
Oh, nice.
That was stupid and funny. I'm like, look at all the weird stalkery parts I have of other riders. Yeah, that's good. I have just a fun little story of Chris because in 2017 they had a Vancouver mountain unicycle weekend,
Right.
and
yeah.
me and Mose drove up there for it, and we did a bunch of trails, and there was a few drops with like their new brakes and setups that supposedly Chris and Ryan hadn't done yet, I believe, because Ryan Krumsader was up there as well.
Right. He's like the new Chris.
Oh, we'll come back to that, but like Ryan is unbelievable.
Right.
I know that Ben Soja not and Ryan would say probably that Ben Soja's the crazy rider to him, but I just have not witnessed.
They're both crazy. Good.
That's not fair. I saw Ben Soja just annihilate things in Moab, but I just have this memory of tricks we were talking about, and one of them is of Ryan in particular. But when we were there was this one really steep ramp drop that Ryan was like thinking about, and Chris came up behind him, and they like kind of took a look at it. And Ryan, I think he walked up to it and backed off. That Chris got and did it on his first try.
Really? Wow.
And we're like, oh, and then Ryan, and it's like, oh, Chris, God dang, Chris is, he's getting up there
Yeah,
in
he's
age,
in his
and
40s, I
he
guess.
rocked this totally gnarly, super steep ramp. And Ryan's like, God damn it, no. He would never swear. Ryan Krumsader, like, never swears. But he's like, I have to do it now. And he did it, like, right behind him. And, it was that pressure between the two of those riders of such an elite skill was, like, so awesome to watch.
Nice.
And then later they did, I might be mistaken with how I tell this story, but there was another trail that came later where there was a bunch of switchbacks, but there was a really gnarly version going straight down them. And him and Chris sat up there for a minute, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chris like did it, like rode the whole thing, and Ryan's like, oh, yeah, I live here, I'll come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then to add to us the memory, we were talking about those memories
Right.
at this event. So I've seen like people do gnarly things, but like the thing I had never seen before, ever. And Ryan has these in these videos. And you've seen Ryan's like crazy Muni videos where he does his big drops.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
promise you, seeing it in person, the video doesn't do it
No.
any justice
No.
at all. I am 6'3". I'm a huge man. I've done a couple like 6 foot drops, maybe one 6 foot drop in Muni, definitely a few of them in street. And we rode down this section in the North Shore like riding area, and you come through all these trails, and Ryan would know what this section is called, where like you come around the corner and it's like steep, like you get to the top and you can see like the parking lot at the bottom. I would have to say it's at least 200 feet like of like down drop, and it's steep, like most mountain bikers are walking around.
Right.
And it's just huge drop, and if you eat it, it's super high consequence. Like, you're going to fall down this thing, and it's not safe, in my opinion.
Dang.
And there's this one drop, easily 10 feet high or so, definitely solidly above my head. And Ryan, we kind of walked down some of it, and I'm like, I'm not riding any of this. Like, I'm walking. I walked down, and I watched Ryan walk back to the top and ride down this thing and come to this 10-foot drop, and he just, not a thought, no hesitation, no lining up, rides and takes the biggest drop I have without question ever seen a human being do on a unicycle, and it was effortless.
Just nailed it.
Just dropped it, rode out, nothing, and I'm like, in my wildest dreams, on my best day ever, if I trained every day, I could never do it. Like, my balls would not let me do it. They would shrink up inside me and say no. They'd shoot out the back and grab onto the ground.
Yeah. To see it in person is just something else.
And yeah, like I don't know. I'm sure mountain bikers do all kinds of crazy stuff. But I think if there had been a mountain biker around me, he would have like his jaw would have just dropped to the ground. And I don't know. I don't know if I got any. This is pretty. We got to a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, we sure did.
Anything you'd like to share about unicycling? Anything?
Let's see. I love it. It's my life. It's my hobby, my passion, my career. I even have a little tattoo.
Oh, I don't even have that tattoo. I've been committed.
I actually just had it redone a couple months ago.
That looks good. That's
it was getting
perfect.
old. It was like 20 years old, so I was like, I need to get it refreshed.
Nice and simple.
But I don't like needles, so even though it only took 15 seconds, the first time I got it, I puked.
Really?
And just a couple months ago, I nearly passed out again.
I in the last couple of years, I have started donating blood regularly.
Ooh,
like every time.
I would love to do that. It's a good thing, but I can't.
Some people are like that. They, I've only learned recently that some people have this. They call it a vagal nerve response. So like when you get poked with a needle, something about seeing it or something about the way stuff hits your veins, your body just like reacts. And I did not know that it's a totally real thing that happens to people with needles sometimes.
Yeah.
I
have a little necklace I always
wear.
wear.
I saw that. That's cool. I don't have like any of that. I used to have all the bracelets, from like events, but they've
this is kind of cool. I had some guy at a festival makes these for every different job you could think of. If you're a guitar player, if you're a teacher, a doctor, and he even had a juggler. And I went over to him. I'm like, oh, you don't have a unicycler? He's like, give me your name and number and I'll create one.
You're like, oh, that's awesome. So that's like a one of a kind.
Well, so I like sent him my info and I forgot about it, and like 3 or 4 months later in the mail shows up a necklace. I'm like, awesome. So like I liked it so much. I'm like, can you make 10 more of them? He's like, yeah, I saw the mold. And so I bought 10 more of them, and then I gave them out to a bunch of people that I know that unicycle.
If you got one of those, hold on to it.
And then I made last year I made 10 more, so there's 20 of them, and I actually have one for you.
Oh I can't believe this is real.
So yeah, you don't have to wear it, but you can like hang it.
This is like a fantasy. Like in my fantasy, I'm like, oh boy, it'd be super cool to get one of those.
So it's one out of 20.
Oh my God, Jamey, thank you.
Because you've been in the unicycling world for a while, and you've done a lot with it. So
I only hope to do more. And let's give a little shout out to the guy Metal Ice. Is that what it says? Metal Ice for anyone who wants to see
Based
it.
in Canada.
Give some shout out to Metal Ice, the unicyclist. Give a real close up of that symbol. I am legit gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear it so much it's gonna annoy my girlfriend.
I love it. Like I wear
it so much.
I wear it all the time.
This is probably going to be one of my most precious items.
Sweet. Well,
Thanks
happy
so much.
New Year.
I think
Christmas.
I cannot think of a better way to end this. Like I had like other questions I was gonna make up to like ask this, but I think this is perfect.
Yep. And it's actually the last one I have of this set. So.
Oh my God, I feel so special right now.
It just worked out. I was like, who am I gonna give it to? And then it just. You.
Oh God. Well, man, you know what? It's been a weird year, and I'm feeling a little emotional. I'm feeling a little emotional about this.
Yeah, it's super weird that we didn't really talk about it, but Unicon being canceled not only this year but next year too. It's like we have to go 4 years without an event. Unicon.
That's crazy. And I don't know if you saw, but Colby Thomas, he just started a new unicycle app.
Oh, I didn't know.
I think it's generally focused around urban, but it's definitely open to all riders. It's called Skrt, SKRRRT.
Okay.
.io.
What does that stand for?
It's like I think it's just like skirt, like like a skate like sound. Okay. Maybe it has a meaning and I'm just an idiot. But
some acronym.
But I assumed it's just that urban like skirt like sound, that you would hear at the skate park or something like that. And it launched today actually.
Oh, nice.
So check it out. But it has a whole thing for riders rostering themselves. And you can like put all your discipline, your info, your bio. It shows you what other riders are. You can filter it by rider types.
Dang. made it?
He made it. Yeah. Kobe Thomas he recently moved to Seattle. Him and his wife. And sorry if I'm giving private information. Maybe I should probably. But I don't know his address or anything.
His address is 128 Victoria Road.
But I have only preliminarily used it today, and so far it is incredible.
Nice.
It's just like the Unicyclist forums is obviously an awesome place, and the new update on the Unicyclist forums
yes, it
is awesome.
Nice.
But this is like I feel like this is a bit more chatty. There's a big open chat on it that's just always going. And so you can just pop in, and people are like kind of chatting on it all the time today.
I'm gonna download it right now.
And it's just a website right now, but you can download.
I thought you said an app. But...
Yeah, you can put the home page of it on your home screen, and it pretty much functions exactly like an app. I've seen no discernible difference as an old person using a smartphone. But yeah, definitely check that out. See what riders are. Yeah. So where are you going to be off to? On your next unicycle adventure, Jamey? Where are you leaving me to go?
You know, I'm being a ski bum for the winter because I can't work really right now, so I'm just like, might as well go play, and so I won't be unicycling that much over the next few months, but we'll see. Maybe I'll pull it out.
Yeah.
Ski hill.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be fun. Like. To try to ride down on a powder day or something.
I've always been curious. I've never made it. I'm sure if you went to the mountain, they'd be like, nah, get the fuck off. But I know our mountain, our local Spokane mountain, is like a public mountain. So like, if you want to hike your way up to do something, you can just do that. You're totally allowed. They can't like stop you from hiking up if you want, which is cool. Some people, they do it. They park and they just skin up instead of buying a lift ticket.
Right. Cool.
But I'm not a snow guy. Nah, I stay inside. I stay at the climbing gym all winter long. Yeah. Well, Jamey, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
it's so good to have you. I hope I didn't keep you too long.
No, that was perfect. You know, I'm glad everything worked out. Like sometimes things just work out.
This is one of them. You know, one of the things I like all the things I talk about with people is like the best thing about unicycling is the community, and this is why. You know, you just have these magic moments where you text someone on the right day and they're driving through and you can just meet up and still like have this badass, super awesome. That's the necklace in its plastic for anyone listening.
And if you want to follow my adventures, just Google the Unicycling Unicorn. You'll see my website, and I do some blogs sometimes and some YouTube videos and stuff, and they're kind of silly sometimes serious, sometimes...
Yeah, they're fun, but they're definitely documenting like your unicycle adventures for sure. And they're good. Yeah. Let's play it one more time. For
the unicyclingunicorn.com.
Yeah, and
or like anywhere on Facebook.
Yeah, all those Instagram. Handles are on Instagram and on YouTube and all that stuff.
I don't have MySpace though, so don't go there.
Yeah, it's only good for music nowadays. But I watched your whole Oregon Timber Trail experience on there, and it was a crazy times. 31 days
of fun.
A
little bit of pain, but mostly fun.
Mostly fun. Thanks for being here, Jamey.
All right.
Good to have you.
Cheers.
Till next time, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this listen.